Could artificial intelligence really plan your entire holiday in just a few minutes? This past month, Expedia brought that possibility one step closer, and that got me thinking. I've lived in London for more than 20 years, so to put the future of travel to the test, I not only became a tourist in my own city, but giving over all control to artificial intelligence. It will decide and organise what attractions I see, where I eat, what I eat, even what shops to browse. In short, I will not be making a single decision for myself. And then, I will actually live out that day, both while assessing how close we are to robots taking over, but also sharing some of London's do's and don'ts as a tourist. In the end though, what started as a fun experiment really turns into a surprising result, and definitely not in the way you're thinking. Normally this channel makes travel movies and guides from around the world, but this time it's Suitcase Monkey being guided. This is AI on what you should do with your first day in London. For those unaware, artificial intelligence essentially refers to a machine thinking and behaving in a human-like manner. In the last 10 years, think Siri or Alexa, but it was the arrival of ChatGPT, developed by OpenAI in November 22, that really took things to the next level. So, after confirmation of being a human, I tentatively asked what felt like a simple opening question. And then, this happened. And there it was, a full day's London itinerary in 20 seconds. Now, what sets this aside from a fixed Google result is that you can poke ChatGPT further, tweaking or probing more, exactly as you might with a concierge in your hotel. It's an artificially intelligent, free-flowing conversation. So I asked some follow-ups. When does Westminster Abbey open and how much is it? Where's the best spot for watching the changing of the guards? How much do you think is a good amount to donate at the British Museum? Any streets around Covent Garden I should check out? What fish and chip restaurants would you suggest? With all my research complete in 5 minutes, I was done and ready for my first day in London. My day started at 9 AM with a walk around the world's greatest clock and the Houses of Parliament. Throughout this video, keep an eye on the top right of your screen. When this icon is present, it means that that part of my narration you're hearing has been entirely scripted by ChatGPT. And when it's not there, then I'm sorry, that means it's me. So for now, let's live in the moment. The Houses of Parliament, also known as the Palace of Westminster, dates back to the 11th century, but most of what is seen today was constructed in the 19th century after a devastating fire in 1834. I cannot imagine any first-time trip to London not including this iconic landmark, and it is a great place to start. So then, doing as I was told, I next admired the views of Parliament from across the Thames, which, as you can clearly see, are where you'll find the most stunning photos. Looking back to my itinerary, next up is Westminster Abbey, which is right next to Big Ben, where I just was. So I casually strolled back across the river. Due to my earlier chat, I knew the Abbey opened at 9:30 and I was warned there might be queues, but I still wasn't prepared for this mother of all lines. Online tickets were already sold out when I checked 2 days ago, and my next item, the changing of the guards, started in just 90 minutes. For a moment I second-guessed whether I should even join the line, but fortunately it only took 30 minutes and I was in. If you are planning on visiting here, something I did learn is that even if I had have booked a ticket, I still would have joined the exact same queue and waited the exact same time. It didn't mean that I would have skipped the line. So this is a small but important detail that AI didn't properly communicate to me, I guess as it's a pretty nuanced understanding of the entry system. Westminster Abbey was founded over 1,000 years ago and has been a site of coronations, royal weddings and funerals. The Abbey's stunning Gothic architecture, intricate carvings, and beautiful stained glass windows did make for a safe follow-up to Big Ben. For me, it was interesting to see the famous 700-year-old coronation chair in person, but the £27 entry price isn't cheap, especially as St Paul's is £20, which is another comparable option. After rushing through the Abbey in around 40 minutes, I was leaving at the time I should have been arriving for the changing of the guards. This schedule hiccup was most likely unaccounted for because of the unexpected wait times to get into Westminster Abbey. During my planning chat for the changing of the guards though, I had been repeatedly warned of the crowds and arriving early, and in this sense, it was bang on. Wow, there were a lot of people here. But based on this volume, I'd assume you need to be getting there at least an hour or more for it to make any meaningful difference in terms of grabbing a front row spot, especially near the front of the palace. The ceremony officially starts behind the palace gates at 11 AM, but from my vantage point, it wasn't until 11:28 that I actually saw anything. I had asked where was the best place to watch from, and although these suggestions were fine in general, by the time I arrived it was hard to navigate anywhere due to the amount of people, so I just kinda got stuck in the only area I had space. Using my human brain, I actually visited this changing of the guard ceremony on a subsequent day to test for a better alternative, and this one only takes about 20 minutes of your time. In short, start on the Mall, specifically where Marlborough Road connects, and wait there. Around 10:40, due to less people and more space, you'll actually be able to walk with the guards for around a minute. Then, just before you get to the crazy crowds of Buckingham Palace, turn left into St James's Park and end up opposite Sullivan's plaque at the Wellington Barracks. From here, around 10:53, you'll then be able to see another group of guards which you can then follow back to Buckingham Palace. Prior to arriving, I really pushed ChatGPT for a better viewing experience, as I knew that there would be a smarter way than just getting there really early, but I never really got an answer, just a general non-specific response. But back to our present day, so far, in summary, we'd started with Parliament and followed up with royalty. Yes, two things that made a lot more sense 400 years ago, but in terms of actually planning my trip, I'd give ChatGPT an okay 6 out of 10 so far. But, fortunately for me, the best was yet to come. Borough Market is a food lover's paradise that's been around for over 1,000 years and is famous for its incredible selection of fresh, local and international cuisine. It can get really busy around lunchtime and on weekends, so if possible, try to visit outside those hours. If you'd like to hear more suggestions, I've made a Top 10 London's Market video, which I'll link for you at the end of this one. Since I've been here so many times, I was curious as to how successful ChatGPT might be at some specific food recommendations, and I was presented with a varied but reliable list of 5 good options. But it was the promise of the best grilled cheese sandwich in London from Kappa Case in Dairy that ultimately won me over. For £8 you get a no-nonsense but super effective grilled cheese sandwich, which I can confirm went down a treat. For dessert, if you are partial to some dough with a hole in it, I'd suggest a donut. Bread Ahead is somewhere I visited numerous times before and never without success or food on my face. So overall, I think this portion equates to a pretty solid 8 out of 10 for an AI-inspired lunch. Things were looking up for the robots. The British Museum is one of the most famous and visited museums in the world. Founded in 1753, it's known for its vast and diverse collection of over 8 million objects, some of which might be stolen. Despite all these artifacts, it is the impressive Great Court that immediately steals the show. With over 3,312 glass panels, all individually cut and fitted, it really is something to behold, and again, a pretty solid choice to visit. I'd go as far as saying that a museum of some sort should be on everyone's London list, and as if by chance, I've also made a complete video guide to London's best museums, which I'll share now and at the end. Now, you can easily spend all day at the British Museum and still not see everything, but there are a bunch of must-see exhibits if you're short on time. First up, the Rosetta Stone, which provided the key to deciphering Egyptian hieroglyphics. Second, the Egyptian mummies, offering a rare glimpse into the beliefs, rituals, and daily life of one of the world's oldest civilizations. And then finally, there's the Parthenon sculptures, an unparalleled artistic masterpiece and a significant representation of ancient Greek culture and history. So, as you can imagine by this point, I was feeling pretty cultured up. So, what better follow-up than with a spot of shopping? Once again, ChatGPT was on a roll. Covent Garden is probably my preferred neighbourhood for window shopping, actual shopping, and entertainment. And I don't just mean the Covent Garden Plaza itself. It pretty much nailed all of the surrounding streets that I would normally suggest for independent boutiques. When I asked which specific shops to visit though, it highlighted one of ChatGPT's biggest setbacks, that being that most of its information cuts off at September 2021. Whereas this doesn't massively affect a largely timeless city like London, it does mean it'll occasionally present you with some out-of-date information, such as shops that have been since permanently closed. Out of the places I did visit though, the best surprise was Benjamin Pollock's toy shop, somewhere I must have passed 100 times before but never properly registered. It's actually been in business for over 100 years, selling a range of puppets, marionettes, and both vintage and modern toys, and it's well worth a look in for something unique. Before leaving Covent Garden for dinner, I did have one more stop on my list, which, as it would turn out, totally changed my perspective on today's whole experiment. And that was a visit to the Royal Opera House. Now, I have very little personal interest in ballet or opera, so even though I knew it was there, I've never thought to go inside. But after navigating my way upstairs, I was amazed to find this. A totally free-to-visit, relatively quiet, rooftop cafe bar. I've since done some research and this place has been open for at least 10 years and it seems nobody knows about it. To have this many empty seats available at a peaceful rooftop location with drinks in central London is literally unheard of, and this has since become my go-to spot for a coffee when I'm in the area. A nice little unexpected find, pushing our AI afternoon to a strong 9 out of 10. For dinner, I had yet another first, and that was being in a London sit-down restaurant and ordering fish and chips. Now, that may sound slightly odd to some of you, but it's typically more of a takeaway thing for ourselves. But even with these tourist prices starting at £20 for fish, chips and tartar sauce, it was still an enjoyable meal. And being from the north, I of course added the mushy peas and curry sauce add-on, which is almost the law. So whilst chomping down on my British fish and chips, reflecting on a day I never would have organised for myself, it was at this point I realised an unexpected potential with using AI for travel, at least in your own hometown. That if you do give this a try, there is a decent chance it will present something new for you. Something that's been under your nose for years, something you didn't even know existed or wouldn't normally have tried. And for that reason alone, I think this experiment was a positive success. Overall, ChatGPT did a really good job, and its main weakness was in some of the nuanced practical details, which I think in reality you could plug in the gaps using your own human intuition. But it was the minimal effort on my side that was kinda fun, especially in allowing yourself to be taken anywhere. And do remember, this technology is still in its infancy, so will only get better. So I do think it's a pretty safe bet that AI will become as much of a resource for travel as a Google search is today. So if you are watching this and wondering for yourself, maybe give it a try for your own local city and let me know what happens. Maybe we can even start an online movement of random, unexpected exploration, and we can call it Know Your City AI. Well, I guess it's better than what I had.